this content will end up on YouTube, I want to sum up a lot of things that's been on my mind. First of all, it has been brought to my attention by myself, by my own observation, that a lot of us, man, we are really afraid to put ourselves out there for fear of what others may say, what others may think. So we put ourselves in this box. Nobody really wants to be judged. I don't want to be judged. I've definitely dealt with a great deal of anxiety and insecurity in my past, and I still do now. So some may call it strength to put myself out there, and I'm always risking the opportunity to make a fool out of myself. Been many times I put videos out there for a crowd of very few. But you know something? Every person matters. If one person gets the message, that's all that matters to me now. I'm not keeping score anymore, because I know I'm going to win regardless. That's when you know you in the zone, where the outcome doesn't matter. It's all about the hunt. And you let that fuel you. And you let everything that gets in your way fuel you. I've come to the conclusion that it's all a test, and you never really know how close you truly are until it happens. And I really feel like I can see things that others can't see. I mean, it is my life, but I have such a strong hold onto something that I haven't even quite defined yet. But it feels like I'm living in my purpose, so I have to make sure that I am living a righteous life. Although there's hate that is dormant, there's envy that's dormant, I don't want to get in my way anymore. It's why I chose to. Is why I chose to sober up. Is why I chose to focus on putting out more content for people. Because the thing is, some of the things that come to my mind, they're no brain. It's a second nature for me. It comes off as insignificant. You know, I see these things as insignificant, but when I pass it on to other people, I'm surprised by the reception that I get. It's like it would appear that it's something they never even heard before, something they never even thought about before. So my mission is greater than I once believed. At one point, I thought it was all about leading myself. And then I get put into a position where I have to lead a child. And I've never been in that position before, because every position that I had to be a leader, I didn't take it. I shied away from things like that, but now it's time. It's probably been time, but now it's time. You know, with the reception that I've been getting on YouTube and some of these people on Facebook and Instagram, it's quite simple. This is the going out swinging tour. Everything that I have to speak on, everything that I have to offer, it's a must. It's a must now, because I'm thinking years down the road. You know, all this practice, playing chess, watching the new Bill Gates documentary, who also plays chess, thinking 6-7 years down the road. I'm talking about legacy here. I'm fighting off regret. So although I hear the voices, I hear the noise, I feel the envy, I feel the jealousy, I feel people getting tight as I'm taking the risk that they want to take. But it's open for everyone to take. As I feel it and I hear all these things, the voice in my mind, in my head, is getting much louder. Go on Google and look up the top 5 regrets of people in their deathbed, and you will see exactly what I'm fighting. Alright, so one of those things is, I wish I lived life the way I wanted to, and not what others expected from me. I've been a rebel pretty much my whole life. A great deal of it was without a cause. But I'm glad I stuck with it. I'm glad I always questioned what was laid out in front of me. Otherwise, I probably would have been put a bullet in my head. You see? There's nothing wrong with being a follower unless you aren't a follower. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want that voice in your head to get quiet, because once it gets quiet, once it is silenced, that is it. All right, you're basically a zombie at this point. It's a tough reality, and seeing this, and and people around me, people that I come in contact with, it gives me a great deal of survivor's remorse, man, for real. It's also very humbling, and I feel like I have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. On top of that, you know, I'm a full-time entrepreneur now. I can actually say that I'm actually making something happen. Also, one thing that I noticed, because if you are aligned with something, you'll start to get signs, you'll start to get clues, all those things. And one thing I noticed is, on this journey that I set out on, strangers of all people, left and right, they just want to help me. They just want to talk to me. They feel things that they feel and see things that I just can't feel and see. All these great things that they have to say about me, all these great things that they offer me. I question it, because for so long I was listening to the wrong noise. I was listening to the wrong crowd, the wrong bit of information. I wasn't tapped in. And through my meditation, through these sessions, I had little glimpses of greatness, these glimpses of something beyond me. But very quickly would it wear off, or so I thought. But it's sticking with me. Things are coming into fruition. The more I put out there, the more that I get. The more that I give, the more that I get. A lot of these counterproductive things that we all sway away from, that we all shy away from, is actually what's going to save us. Alright? So I would be very cynical when it comes to what the crowd is doing, what the crowd is up to. Alright? Because you could be following a crowd full of losers. Alright? And and I don't like to make fun of people, but hey, if I can be shallow for a minute, the group of losers are the people who, they hate their They hate their lives. They said it. They're always complaining about their boss and all this and that. But in their free time, they don't get together to plan. But you work much better as a team. But instead, they get together and talk shit about people who made something out of themselves, who took the risk that they're afraid to take, man. Like, just think about that. And my initial thought when I see people posting all these hating ass threads talking about celebrities, I want to be in the comments saying, wow, you must be really losing. Or like, you don't have anything better to, but I don't want to get caught up in that, because again, as I said in some of my content, I pick your battles. You have to choose your battles wisely. There's nothing to gain by calling people out directly on this shit. I mean, if anything, it's just going to put them on the defense, and they're going to have a strong hold on that. That's not what I want out of people. I don't want people to put up walls where it's not needed. I want to get to the subconscious minds of people, because I see what it is. The reason why we do things like this, we hate on celebrities just out of the blue, no noise, nothing. Nothing in the news, we just want to pull it out. The reason why we do this is because we don't apply ourselves. We're insecure. I mean, it could be a combination of these things. It could be one or the other, or something that I don't mention. We're unhappy. We're depressed. We don't know what to do. We're lost. That envy, man, it makes you do things it's just not you. And when you're vibrating at a lower level, that's when it takes over. But as you start to raise your vibrations, it's just certain things you just don't entertain, that you can't fathom. So the higher you vibrate, You know, the less you entertain these things, the less you entertain these shallow things, you go look for something deeper. All right, and then every bit of wealth that you get, if you truly feel wealthy, you share it with other people. You know, so when we talk about philanthropy, you know, it's gotta be an infectious thing. It's gotta be just something that just compels you with all the wealth and knowledge and resources that you acquire to just pass it on to other people, because there's enough to go around, man. It's like when you take one birthday candle to light 17 more, you know what I'm saying? That's how powerful it is to have all this information. Like, really, I knew that I was sitting with so many pieces, so many bones, that the voice inside my head was telling me, you know, it's really time to give up the drinking. It's really time to give up the smoking. For now. Like, I mean, I can't tell you about the future. I'm really enjoying sobriety. Truly. So, and I gotta go with what works. And I know that I can be truly stubborn, so hopefully it keeps me on this side. But once you start listening to those voices in your head that tell you to do certain things that's uncomfortable, but you know it'll be worth it, you start getting more aligned with where you should be. You start getting more signs, you know, more clues. You start seeing more options, you know, just another way out. The thing is, we take the low-hanging fruit to numb our minds, to get our minds off the pain or whatever without resolving it. See? But I think it's worth taking a couple steps back if it means you can get further than where you were before you took those steps back. It's the reason why we do these things. I could drink and smoke right now if I wanted to, but it's not helping the cause. There are people depending on me. I'm depending on me. I'm trying to build a legacy. And in order to do that, I need to be as clear-minded as possible. I need to be as militant as possible. I need to be ready. That's what it's all about. And I'm finally in that place where I'm able to bet on myself comfortably. And the outside noise doesn't matter. Because the outside noise is usually coming from somebody who, for lack of better phrases, they aren't on their shit, alright? They hate their lives. They don't know where they're going. It's the monotony. It's all, their life is crumbling. They're not applying themselves. I'm not paying that any mind. Alright? I'm building up a fortress, a mental fortress, to protect me from these things, while also plan out my attacks and take some attacks towards what I want, man. So I started using Instagram a little bit more, and I see the reception that I'm getting. Initially I was thinking, you know, it's moving too slow. Perhaps it is, but I never know when that thing is just gonna pop and I get an outcome that's better than what I even desire. But it doesn't even matter at this point, because again, anybody who can take away from my testimony, from my knowledge, whatever I have to offer, I'm with it. I know I'm going to win. I'm winning now. But again, I'm not keeping score. I don't care about looking flashy, man. Like, I don't care if it's dolled up, whatever it is. I'm doing this for people who in similar positions, alright? Who didn't grow up with all the eyes on them. Who didn't have the popularity. Who didn't have the smarts. Who didn't have the riches. Who didn't have high self-esteem. Who didn't have that father. I do this for them. So when I found out that I was having a baby, people were telling me it's not all about you anymore. But sometimes when people tell me things, there's actually a deeper meaning tied to it that not even the person who said it knows about. Yeah, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about that homeless person who was bold enough to ask for money. You know? It's about that person who feels like a castaway, just like I did. couldn't quite find his or her voice. You know what I'm saying? Because I can relate to that. I can relate to not trying because you think it's going to fail. And now, I fail quite often. And I love it. I'm learning. Every step of the way, I'm learning. A lot is going on in this mind. I'm applying a lot, man. And I know, I mean, it already has manifested into success in my life. But it's going to get even greater. And no matter how I feel about the progress that I'm making, I'm wrapping circles around people who aren't even trying. So let me point this towards you. Things may be moving slow, but you wrapping circles around people who are not even trying. Alright? There are talkers and there are doers. Now, if I didn't have to put a video to my face, I wouldn't be doing too much talking. When the camera's off, I'm not talking. You know, I'm reading, I'm reflecting. You know, I'm doing something, I'm moving. Alright? I don't care about the gimmicks or anything. I care about being effective. Otherwise, why would I even show up? I've seen it many times. Even within myself. In the past. People talking about what they going to do. It enables the celebratory part of your brain. We're talking dopamine, all these things. You know, so for example, yeah, man, I'm gonna release my book next month, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a banger. Yeah, it's gonna be a bestseller. It's gonna be this. It's gonna, you know, and you get other people just drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. Meanwhile, no work is being done. Alright, no groundwork has been laid. And why would you do it when you're already celebrating? Because no amount of work that you're going to put towards the finished product is going to feel as great as you feel right now. And you didn't have to do any work to do it. Go figure. That's the trap. That's the trap. And like I said, I'm just fortunate enough that I saw it in other people too. So I just see how ineffective that is. Now, for some people, it does put the right amount of pressure on them. But for most people, they ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. You know, in fact, it's gonna make you even more what they say, gun shy. I think that's the term. You know, because people gonna start asking you about it, man, and you don't want the conversation to be the same. Like, oh yeah, right. Well, yeah, I'm push it back. Yeah, I'm trying to add a little something to it. You know, you ain't gonna do shit. And I know I done said this in another way. People thought it was kind of funny. I said it in an angry way. You know, I was just trying to get the point across. Maybe get a little attention. But facts, man. Like, the reality of it all is not as beautiful as celebrating before you start. You know, it's not as beautiful as eating the cake before you eat the vegetables. But if you understand that, and you take on the things that you say you want to do, even when you don't feel like doing it, you are going to win. You are going to set yourself apart from the pack. Also, you know, tied with not keeping score, keeping your head down, getting in the zone through absolute immersion. You don't need to pay attention to how long the road is. Once you start paying attention to how long the road is, that's enough to make most people quit. Alright? What's next? What's after that? What's after that? You know, chess. See, I hate this, man. I hate that a lot of people would say and even understand this is chess, not checkers. But they don't even pick up a chess board to understand how true that notion really is. It's like in middle school, high school, you walk down the hall and you see posters that says, reading is fundamental, reading is powerful. You say, yeah, reading fundamental, powerful, yeah, You pay it no mind, and you understand these quotes and all that, but you don't understand how true that is. We're talking about expanding the mental horizons, forcing you to see things that you've never seen, things that isn't represented in your environment, where you come from, your household, your home. And that's what keeps you in your fishbowl to go seeking things that you've already seen your whole life. All right. So when you question why a woman keeps ending up with abusive men, she don't know any better. She don't know anything other than that. She didn't know how to look beyond that. All right. Until absolute disgust hits, and then you get fed up, and then you start seeking more, which is the case for me. Disgust works extremely well for me. Um, well, that's it because